Hey, what's up, everybody? Jay Pounds here. We got another rebuild video for you this week. This week, we're going to do part two of the 12 trades that took me from worst to first. But before we get into that, I kind of want to touch base with the new users. Maybe you stumbled across this video, maybe you've been watching us for a little bit, and it's piquing your interest. Kind of want to show you a few things real quick. Just how to navigate basically. It'll be very, very brief. Basically, this is the homepage here. If you want to read any articles or anything like that, go ahead and just click on articles. You'll see, these will help you get very, very familiar with the game and kind of what to expect. You can mock draft as well as it's on here. You see Steve, Matt the Jerks articles as well as mine. Um, let's see here. We'll go in here. It's your typical fantasy format, but the big kicker is you have to be an NFL GM and you get a salary cap. So each of these players are assigned their actual NFL salary, and you get basically 3/4 of the NFL salary cap, and you got to play it out from there. Um, Before we get into the 12 trades, make sure you guys like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. YouTube has a weird algorithm, and that helps out tremendously. So if you guys would like to, please like and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. Let me pull this up. Sorry for the delay. I thought I had it ready. I guess I don't. All right. Last week we went over 6 trades. This week we're going to go over 6 more. Obviously, 12 trades, 6 plus 6. Do basic math. I would hope we could all do math in this format. All right, let's get right into it. Trade number 7. I sent out the 105, 106, and the 205. Got back the 101 and the 312. I kind of feel I may have overpaid a little bit for it. But then again, it's the 101. With as deep as this class was, the 105 and 106 were very, very valuable. But at the same time, I'm rebuilding. I needed a quarterback. When I traded for this, it was I thought I was taking Trevor Lawrence 100%, no doubt about it. And as you'll see later, it didn't turn out that way. But when the way this trade basically came to be is the other owner approached me. Or no. I approached him telling him I wanted the 101, and he kind of made me pay for it, and that's all right. It worked out in the end, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm sure he's happy with it with the 1.5 and 1.6. I can't remember if I think he did end up keeping both of them. We'll look at it whenever we look at the final team and kind of see what those played out to be. But for the future, both owners, I think it really worked out for both owners. I feel like we both left the trade smiling. Trade number 8, Daniel Jones, and the 2021 206 is what I sent out. I got back the 2021 1.7 and the 307. For Daniel Jones, it really just came down to I don't like him much. I had high hopes for him going into last year because he looked really good as a rookie, and he just kind of regressed. I get it; they had a tough schedule and all that, but at the same time, he looked just as bad as Winston did with turnovers, especially fumbling the ball. It seemed like he was fumbling once a game. I know it wasn't quite that much. I think he had 11 fumbles, but it was just too much at for a quarterback. You can't be fumbling the ball 11 times, especially when you're throwing a high number of interceptions as well. So I had no issue sending him out. The owner actually approached me about this and asked me if wanted to deal Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones. And I was kind of high on Darnold at that time because he was getting a new coaching staff, just with the trade and everything like that. So I was planning to keep Darnold, but then I got into, this thinking of, here in 2 years, Daniel Jones is either going to be expensive or a backup. And by the end of next season, we're going to know what Sam Darnold is. He's either going to be a starter or he's going to be out the door. So it was just too much of a risk for me, especially when I was getting the 1-7 back. So for Daniel Jones, like I said, this is a make or break it year in my opinion. They may give him one more year just because of how high they drafted him. But in my opinion, this is a make it or break it year for Jones with the signing of Galladay, drafting Kadarius Toney in the first round. Saquon Barkley coming back. They're going to expect this kid to produce and produce quick. So if he doesn't produce by the end of this year, I really feel he's probably going to be looking at backup territory unless he just comes on like no other in the following year. But I don't see that likely. So I was very, very happy with the return I got here, getting the first round pick. I know young quarterbacks on good deals are tough to find in this, but it's Daniel Jones, so I wasn't too worried. But in the long run, I feel like both me and the other owner were, we both left the deal pretty happy. As far as long term value goes, it really is going to come down to whether Daniel Jones turns into something or not. If he can be a midway quarterback, that guy will probably be happy with his return. And for me, it depends on if Javonte Williams hits, because that's who I took. Or no. I think I took. Yeah, it depends on if Javonte Williams hits for me. Spoiler there. I shouldn't have did that, but that's all right. I'm a dummy sometimes. So yeah. Basically, it really depends there. I feel like personally I got the better end of the deal, but who goes out of a trade thinking I lost? Trade number 9. Sorry if you just heard my bunnies going crazy in the background. We just had little baby bunnies, and the mom's, man, she's been going nuts for some reason. So if my mic picks any of that up, I really apologize. But trade number 9, I got Sam Darnold, or I sent out Sam Darnold, Alan Lazard, the 1-2, the 306, 307, and the 312. I got back Tony Pollard, Phillip Lindsay, the 104 and the 108. The guy approached me. He really, really, really wanted the 102 and Sam Darnold. Basically, at this point, like I said with Daniel Jones, and when I hinted on Sam Darnold there, it's just, after this year, he's going to be on his 5th-year option. He's going to be very expensive, or he's going to be a backup quarterback. So I didn't want, for a 1-year rental there, I was all right, getting 2 more draft picks there, and I knew I could pick up one of these young 5 rookie signal callers. I had no issue taking any of them, even Mac Jones in New England. I think he's going to do well. One of them aren't going to pan out. More than likely 2 of them probably won't, maybe even 3. But, I felt comfortable taking really all of them but Wilson. And now that training camp or OTAs and all that's starting, I've heard nothing but great things about Wilson. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But all in all, I was happy to get 2 young quality backup bench playing running backs and Pollard and Phillip Lindsay. They probably won't see my starting lineup, but they'll be on the bench, contributing. And then if one of the, Phillip Lindsay may end up being just a flat out starter in Houston, God knows what they're doing there. But Tony Pollard, if something happens to Zeke, or God forbid his play continues to go down, or I said that backwards, God forbid if something happens to Zeke, or if his play goes down, geez, that sounded horrible. Then, Tony Pollard's going to be a stud. And at that cheap of a contract, it would be an absolute steal to have, especially with the 17-game season. I feel like teams might even sit a player out here and there just to keep them fresh if they're on a playoff run or something. So Pollard may end up being very valuable at certain points of the season. But all in all, I was just real happy to get the 1-4 and the 1-8. I know I sent the 1-2 out, but I already had the 101. So I was comfortable doing that, only moving back 2 spots and getting rid of Darnold to pick up, an extra first and Pollard. I'll take that all day long. And I'm not a big Lindsey truther, but I don't mind him at the same time. Let's go ahead and move on to trade number 10. I sent out Russell Gage and A.J. Dillon, along with the 101. I moved all over the first round of this draft before it even started. Um, and I got back. I was so happy with this trade. I ended up getting back the 102, DJ Moore, and the 112. So basically, we made this deal. I don't even remember how it worked out. I sent the 1-2. Yeah. We made that deal, and then he contacts me a couple weeks later, and he's like, I really, really need a running back. Who are you thinking about taking with the 101? And in my mind at that point, I was still going Lawrence. But I looked at his team and realized he needed a running back in the worst way. And I was like, all right, this guy's, he's getting a hold of me because he wants Harris. So I was like, I'm debating between Harris and Lawrence. Not too sure who I'm going to go with yet. I could use both, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right, well, what's it going to take for me to move up? I really want Harris. I just basically was looking at his roster, and before I even sent him a trade, he had DJ Moore. He had this offer sent to me, and I don't think he had the 212 on there, and I know I added in Russell Gage, so he sent me DJ Moore, the 102, and yeah, he sent me DJ Moore in the 102, and he was going to get back AJ Dillon in the 101. So I added threw Russell Gage and the 212 in there, and it was a done deal pretty quickly. Sorry, it's been a while since I made this trade, and I made a couple more after, so mine's not exactly fresh on that. But anyways, I was extremely happy to get DJ Moore to move back one spot. Yeah, I got rid of Russell Gage and AJ Dillon. I was high on AJ Dillon, but with the Packers re-signing Aaron Jones to that big deal, I don't even care to have him. He's a handcuff at that point. It'd be nice to have him as a luxury, but I'll take DJ Moore all day long. I know Tim would too. Always got to mention Tim when you talk about DJ Moore. It just doesn't feel right if you don't. But just to move back one spot and potentially still get my guy. I say potentially, you'll see why here in a second, but potentially still get Trevor Lawrence like I had planned, bam. All right. I'll do that all day long and like I said, grab a talent like DJ Moore. It was a no-brainer. Trade number 11. I sent out the 102, which I'll explain why I got Kyle Pitts here in a second, OJ Howard, and I got back Travis Kelce in the 308. The reason I got Kyle Pitts there is this happened while I was on the clock. He messaged me. He's like, hey, who are you taking it to? I was like, I originally wanted to go Lawrence. I didn't tell him all this, but for some reason, it was made up in my mind that I was going Lawrence until the day before the draft. And I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go Pitts or Chase at 2. And because I knew Harris was 100% going first overall. So I was debating between Pitts or Chase at 2, and the guy at 3, I didn't think he needed a tight end. He had Ertz, Gronkowski, and I think Mark Andrews potentially. Not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure. So I didn't think he was going to go tight end there. And then I get this guy messaging me. He's like, look, I want Pitts. So I told him, all right, it's between Chase and him. What are you going to offer here? And he sends me this offer, and this is like, it happens to everybody when you're getting ready to come out of a rebuild, or you're getting close to coming out of a rebuild, and you get this offer, and it's like, okay, if I make this offer, it's time to go all in, like right now. And I knew I was getting ready to get some more draft picks. I still got all of my draft picks except for my 2022 first. That was in last week's video, obviously, but I still had, sorry about that. I still had all my draft picks. So I was like, all right, I can afford to make this trade. I had the salary cap space and all that. Then it just came down to, do I want Pitts or Kelce? And then I got to thinking, all right, if I take Pitts and he takes that traditional, even if it's he breaks out in year 2, I still got to wait. So if I take Kelce, I got a chance to win this year. The rest of my team is really, really good, as you guys will see here in a minute. And I was just like, all right, rebuild over. It's time to go all in. So if I'm counting on two players that are going into their second sophomore year, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm really counting on them to break out to really put this team over to the top. And you guys will see what I'm saying here in a second. But like I said, I also have all these draft picks still, and then I have an extra second rounder to play with as well. So I have some ammunition to add another piece or two if I really need to. I just got to figure out how I want to do it, and stay smart with the cat, because I have some contracts looming in 2 years that I really want to keep all of them, but I don't know that it'll be possible. But we'll see. Like I said, I ended up taking Kelsey instead of Pitts. I may regret that in 3-4 years, but I'm going for now instead of 3-4 years. So we'll see how this plays out. And then let's go ahead and move to trade number 12. Last trade, mundane trade. Sent out Anthony Firkser in a third, got back a second in 2023. This was basically, I wanted to free up some cap space for these trades that I'm about to make, or free agent moves, whatever. And I already have Travis Kelce, as you guys just seen. You guys seen on my original roster, Dallas Goedert and Adam Troutman. So I'm very, very comfortable with my tight end room, that I can send somebody on a 1-year deal with the Titans off of my roster. I'm high on Firkser, don't get me wrong, but with the Julio going there, it just kind of hurt his value a little bit. So I figured I might as well get what I can now and open up that space so I can play with my team a little bit, basically. I think that's all I got on this one, guys. Let's go ahead and show you the team I'm working with now. I'll pull it up real fast. Whoops. Give you guys the big screen here. This is not it. Also, you guys see my team name here. If I'm in any of your leagues, feel free to message me, whatever. I'm always down to talk some football. I don't see the chats sometimes. As you see, I got 25 up here. It's when I switch back and forth between leagues, sometimes I just miss them, I guess. And then, I'm father of 4, so I'm a busy guy. All right, let's go over the updated roster now. You guys seen my original roster last week. Actually, let me go ahead and read that off to you real quick. The original team that I started with here last year in my startup was, my quarterbacks were Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, and Jameis Winston. The running backs, CMC, Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, A.J. Dillon, Latavius Murray, Justin Jackson, Raquel Armstead, and Malcolm Perry. My wide receivers were Julio, Devontae Parker, Michael Pittman, Anthony Miller, Sammy Watkins, Russell Gage, and Quintez Cephas. Tight ends, Dallas Goedert, Will Disley, and Jared Cook. My kickers were Greg Joseph, Brett Maher, and Matt Prater. All right, now let's go ahead and examine the real team here. If you guys need to, pause the video for a second, check that original team out, and then really compare it to this, and then look through these trades over these last 2 weeks and really just kind of look how I maneuvered things to get to where I really wanted to be here. I do want to add one more running back to this roster. Like I said, I got plenty of draft picks to play with. I may even try to add 2 if I can figure a way out to do it. But I'm for sure going to add another running back as long as my league mates are willing. But we got some pretty competitive teams in this league. I'm excited for this season, especially for this league here. But my quarterback, as you guys see, Dak. Got J.K. Dobbins and Antonio Gibson. These were the 2 sophomores I was talking about that I really, really need to break out. I'm confident in both of them, very, very high on both of them. So I'm not too worried about it. But, it's the NFL. We've seen weird things happen before. I got Deontay Johnson and A.J. Brown as my 2 receivers here. And then you got Travis Kelce and DJ Moore. This starting lineup, I'm very, very happy with it, especially the next 3-year outlook. I'd say I can't wait to see what happens. My bench right now, I got Fields. As you see, I didn't take Lawrence in the draft. I switched my whole thinking up like the day before. I was like, all right, I'm going to take a quarterback later and really start pumping this roster up. And then the guy hits me with the Travis Kelce trade, and I'm like, wow, this plan's really going to come together. And then at 4, Chase was still there. I can't remember who. Oh, the guy at 3 took Lawrence, which I should have knew that. If I pass on Lawrence at 2, it's very, very likely he goes at 3. I didn't think that one through a little bit, but it ended up working out anyway. So, and then I got Justin Fields, Tony Pollard. This is the spot I really want to upgrade right here, where Tony Pollard is, because I can't count on a backup running back to get consistent points per se. I feel Tony Pollard could, but I don't want to count on that. Javonte Williams, same thing. I really just want to be able to rotate these two out in one of these spots and have a solid guy there. As you'll see, if you look around your leagues and Dynasty Owner, benches aren't very deep. It starts to get shallow on benches pretty quickly. And then I got Brandon Cooks, Jamar Chase as my bench wide receivers right now. I do have Michael Pittman too that will be playing in there sometimes. My second tight end, like I said, Dallas Goedert, however you say it, Cody Parquet. I got Gardner Minshew just in case. I actually traded for him for $2 million Dynasty dollars. I just didn't put that in there because it was kind of pointless. But I was planning on taking Lawrence, so I went ahead and tried to get Minshew and did. I got Kalen Ballage, Jarrett Patterson, got him on the free agency after the draft. Phillip Lindsay, Justin Jackson, Anthony Miller, Quintez Cephas, Michael Pittman, Frank Darby, Tutu Atwell, Josh Palmer, Nico Collins, Adam Troutman, and Graham Gano. So, compare that to the original team. I wanted to go young, as obviously a rebuilding owner usually does. And I threw in a little bit of veteran presence there with Cooks and Kelce. And that also just kind of became, with Kelce, he's a trade chip at any point in time. But with Cooks, he's kind of my guy that if I need to, I'll dump him in a heartbeat for salary relief, especially if Watson isn't playing. Cooks is a fantastic guy, but at $16.5 million, I think is what he is. It's just not, without Watson there, unless Davis Mills turns out to be a god or something, it's just not worth it at the end of the day. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Make sure you guys tell some friends about Dynasty Owner, especially if you guys are having fun on it like I am. I'm constantly telling my dad, basically, he's the only one, my dad and my son, that in my friend group, I got a couple buddies we got a home league together, but they don't get into it heavily, and I don't think Dynasty Owner's for them. But if you guys got, people maybe you talk to on Twitter all the time that you think would enjoy this, just let them know. Be like, hey man, this platform's really fun. I think you should check it out. If you don't have the time to explain it to them, send them to us. We'll help for sure. But like I said, guys, that's all I got for you. Good luck on your 2021 Chase for the Rings, and Chase for the Ring, and we'll catch you guys next week. Try to stay safe out there. I know for the most part, masks are starting to get lifted and everything, but stay safe. The world's a crazy place, guys. Enjoy Dynasty Owner.